Good evening. I will be discussing Alvin Plantinga and the knowledge and Christian belief for this video book review. Alvin Plantinga is a very well-known professor and philosopher, and he is an author of many books, one which warrants of Christian belief was very popular, and knowledge of Christian belief would be like a sequel, I would say. It's briefer than the warrant, but it goes into more depth, I want to say. But with Plantinga, I noticed a lot of similarities within Wright's work and Craig. Majority Craig, as I read now, they have a lot of similarities and everything. But Plantinga really discusses three to four, I believe, different atheists, the way they think and believe, and how they're completely wrong. He also goes into why we speak or of God, and why we do the things we do, and basically explaining to non-believers there is a God. I would say that this book taught me a lot, and it was a really interesting from beginning to end. Plantinga was so just very precise and clear on his views and what he thought. And I also wanted to go into really, let's say, like a summarization of the book on what I got from it. So the first chapters were pretty much discussing why we speak of God, and why is he important in his existence and everything, and basically why he's just amazing, or why basically we couldn't do a lot without him. So with that being said, a lot of stuff I did get a little confused on, and understanding why is this and why is that, and it was more with Wright's work. But with Craig, I get a little better, more understanding, and he kind of clarifies a lot. Like Plantinga, it makes sense to me. I don't know if with the Wright, I don't know if I didn't understand certain things, but it was more, a lot of it is still confusing for me, because my journey right now, my faith, I'm very new to this, so I'm trying to understand and trying to get these meanings and just everything pretty much. I'm trying to summarize and put it in some pretty much my ordeal, or how it shouldn't probably be how I feel, but I'm not really good at sometimes actually trying to remember what I read, but I'm trying to. I have notes where I wrote some things down, and some things that actually stood out to me or whatnot, but I really feel like the work does hold together. That is a very interesting book. it's very amazing how many non-believers are actually out there and how they feel like the world has created itself. I will say that Plantinga did basically touch on a lot of those things, and he was, I mean, from chapter to chapter, it just gave you a brief summary of what you just read, just in case you don't remember or you lost track or whatever. And I mean, it was some reoccurring themes, some unstated assumptions. I'm not too sure, but I do know it was a lot of reoccurring themes and a lot of pretty much like with Craig's work as well, like a lot of the atheists believing that, oh, if God exists, then why does this happen, and why is this and that? And I mean, it's a reason for everything, even though you feel like if it really was a God, these things should not be happening. It's a reason for everything. So he goes into that explaining, and his strengths of his work is just where he breaks it down or tries to explain, pretty much go in every chapter giving you a brief summary of what went on in the first chapter. And then into the second one saying, okay, now we're going into this. But remember, this happened in chapter 1. And I feel like that is a lot of strength. And for him, like with scripture and just quoting things and just how he felt about a lot of things. And the weaknesses, I don't know too much. I mean, I try my best on doing this assignment. I'm not really good with trying to remember everything. I should have tried to go on notes, but I believe fellow students should read this book because it will give you an eye-opener, a new perspective of how the world views, or how the church, or even how others, non-believers and everything, view actually God, or their opinions about it. I feel like it's great to hear someone else that has been teaching or in this field for a while over this, or his point of views of pretty much how he feel. And it's a lot of them that I don't agree with, like certain techniques, but overall Craig and Plantinga is like this is my first time even reading any of their books, and I would read anything else he has because I just liked the way he laid it out. I like the way it's like you can actually touch it, and you can actually it's personal for me. I can actually understand and get it from his point of view. Now, right? I don't know why he was a little bit more complex to me, but I don't know if I will read another one of his books. But Craig and definitely Plantinga, I would, because Alvin Plantinga has a lot of great books out there that I want to read. I really want to read Warrant of the Christian Belief, just to get a better perspective on knowledge and Christian belief, like how this book relates to that book. But in all, I give the book maybe a 9. It was very interesting. I didn't know a lot of these things, and he really puts, like I said, a lot in perspective with his work and explaining to you why, or basically how he feels about a certain thing. And it's I just feel like he did an awesome job on touching some of the topics and everything. But Um, yeah, yeah, basically overall, he specifically, um, with the Christian belief, it's irrational and cannot sensibly be behold or whatnot, beheld or whatnot. But um, he really presented the same ideas from what I heard from the Warren. It was just a much more accessible fashion and briefer, and I just I want to have that pretty much to compare it to so I can actually see for myself, because just reading that and not knowing about the Warren, I will say that, you know, you might be up and up, but overall it was a wonderful book, and I enjoyed reading Alvin Plantinga and William L. Craig and N.T. Wright. I will actually try to study on him more and try to get things out of that, but I would actually say this has been an interesting class for me, and I'm totally gonna try to study up more so I can get things out of this. But thank you for that. That's my book review on Alvin Plantinga's Knowledge of Christian Belief. My name's Samika Cherry, and you guys have a great night.